Here's a shocking truth that's about to shake up college football. The University of Texas just claimed the #1 preseason ranking for the very first time in program history. But here's the controversial part. They barely squeaked by with one of the most disputed votes in decades. When the Associated Press released their preseason top 25 rankings this Monday, the Longhorns found themselves perched at the summit by the slimmest of margins. But here's where it gets controversial. Texas edged out Penn State by a mere 5 points, 1,552 to 1,547, marking the tightest preseason voting battle we've witnessed since 1998. That's right. We're talking about a difference so narrow it could practically be decided by a coin flip. The voting breakdown reveals just how divided the experts really are. Texas managed to secure 25 first-place votes from the 65-member media panel, while Penn State grabbed 23. For those keeping track, that means Texas captured only 38.5% of the first-place votes, the smallest percentage for a #1 preseason team since Georgia's 33.9% back in 2008. And this is the part most people miss. When your #1 ranking is based on such a fractured consensus, are you really the undisputed top dog? This historic ranking achievement adds another milestone to the Southeastern Conference's unprecedented dominant streak. The SEC now boasts the preseason #1 team for a record-breaking 5th consecutive year, further cementing their stranglehold on college football's elite tier. But here's what makes this even more remarkable, or, depending on your perspective, more concerning. The SEC has managed to place a staggering 10 teams in the preseason top 25, the most any conference has ever achieved. The Longhorns face an immediate baptism by fire that could either validate their lofty ranking or expose it as premature hype. Their season opener on August 30th pits them against the defending national champions, third-ranked Ohio State, in what amounts to a rematch of last season's college football playoff semifinal. Remember that game? The Buckeyes dominated with a decisive 28-14 victory in the Cotton Bowl, which raises an intriguing question. How does a team that lost to the defending champs suddenly leapfrog above them in the rankings? Ohio State, despite their championship pedigree, finds themselves ranked 3rd with 11 first-place votes, while Clemson sits at #4 with 4 first-place votes, and Georgia rounds out the top 5 with a single first-place nod. Oregon claimed the final first-place vote, creating a fascinating dynamic where 6 different programs received top billing from various voters. The complete top 10 lineup features Notre Dame at #6, Oregon at #7, Alabama at #8, LSU at #9, and Miami closing out the elite group at #10. This configuration gives the SEC 4 representatives in the top 10 for the second straight year, while the Big Ten, despite winning the past 2 national championships, places 2 teams in the top 3 for the 3rd consecutive year. But let's talk about the elephant in the room: Arch Mania. The fever pitch surrounding Arch Manning's emergence as Texas's undisputed starting quarterback has reached astronomical levels. The pressure on this young man's shoulders is immense, and here's what's really fascinating. The Longhorns' rapid ascent from mediocrity to championship contention has been nothing short of remarkable. Consider this dramatic transformation. Just 4 years ago, in Steve Sarkisian's inaugural season, Texas stumbled to a disappointing 5-7 record. Fast forward to today, and the Longhorns have captured 25 victories in their last 30 games while reaching 2 consecutive college football playoff semifinals. During last season alone, they held the #1 ranking for 4 out of 5 weeks, spanning mid-September to mid-October. and they managed to reach the SEC championship game in their very first season in the conference. Sarkisian himself acknowledges the immense expectations, stating during SEC Media Days, "This is a new year, new faces, new team, and obviously expectations are high for our program. I'm not naive to that. I don't put my head in the sand, and expectations are very high. But I also say we're the University of Texas, and the standard is the standard here. And that's competing for championships year in and year out." Here's where the skeptics might have a point. Texas lost a dozen players to the NFL draft, including 3 first-round selections. The offensive line and receiving corps took particularly heavy hits. However, the program's elite recruiting prowess and strategic transfer portal acquisitions should theoretically offset these departures, while the defense returns substantial talent. Historically speaking, this ranking represents uncharted territory for the Longhorns. While Texas has concluded seasons at number 1 in the AP poll 3 times, 1963, 1969, and 2005, they had never previously started a season ranked higher than number 2, which occurred in 1962, 1965, 1970, 2005, and 2009. This makes their current position both historic and somewhat unprecedented. Penn State's number 2 ranking deserves significant attention, particularly since they sit just 6 points behind Texas while maintaining a commanding 75-point lead over Ohio State. Many observers view this gap as a potential slight against the reigning national champions. The Nittany Lions, led by returning quarterback Drew Aller, face what many consider a manageable schedule before crucial late-season matchups against Oregon in September and Ohio State on November 1st. Ohio State enters the season with substantial question marks, returning only 5 offensive starters and 3 defensive starters. Coach Ryan Day emphasizes his team's desire to establish its own identity while pursuing something no Ohio State team has achieved: consecutive national championships. The quarterback competition between Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz adds another layer of intrigue, though whoever wins the job will have the luxury of throwing to elite receiver Jeremiah Smith. Several fascinating storylines emerge from the complete rankings. Texas aims to become just the 12th team since 1950 to start and finish number 1, with Alabama in 2017 being the last to accomplish this feat. Notre Dame cracks the top 10 for the 3rd time in 4 years, despite needing to identify a new starting quarterback between C.J. Carr and Kenny Minchey. Boise State's number 25 ranking creates another notable milestone, as all 12 teams from the 2024 College Football Playoff earn preseason recognition. The Broncos become the first Group of 5 program to achieve preseason top 25 status since Tulane in 2023. Perhaps most remarkably, SMU returns to the preseason top 25 at number 16 for the first time in 4 decades, with quarterback Kevin Jennings leading a program that was ranked number 3 in 1985 before finishing 6-5 and unranked. But here's the million-dollar question that's bound to spark heated debates. Does Texas truly deserve this number 1 ranking? Or is this simply a case of hype overwhelming substance? With such a divided vote among experts and facing an immediate test against the defending champions, are we witnessing the crowning of a legitimate contender or setting up college football's most spectacular early season upset? What do you think? Is Texas ready to live up to these sky-high expectations? Or will the Longhorns prove that preseason rankings mean absolutely nothing when the pads start popping? Share your boldest predictions, and let's see who's brave enough to go against the grain on this one.